So this was the first year I forgot WWDC was happening, and I didn't tune in live because, let's just face it, the past couple months have just been kind of like, nah, just like not that exciting. Like, oh wow, iOS 12 is kind of faster and looks like a bit different. Like things have not been that exciting with the Worldwide Developers Conference in the past since like 2013. I mean, like iOS 7 was pretty cool, and then after that, WWDC kind of like sucked. But anyway, I realized that I didn't watch it live when I saw a CNET update or a CNET summary, and I was like, oh god, like, better watch this, like, keep myself informed.
Yay!
But I was wrong. I had very little expectations, no expectations. I haven't really been following rumors, so I didn't really know what to expect. I just went in blind. And I'm not going to say that Apple knocked me out of my socks or knocked my socks off. That's the right way to say that. But they definitely made me say, like,
nice.
So yeah, we're going to outline why I think Apple is thinking a little bit differently, if you see what I did there. They are, I think, sort of listening to the customer a little more and not being their typical, we know it's best for you, selves. I didn't write a script, I didn't write an outline, so you're going to just hear me ramble here, so forgive me. So let's start about the first thing, the elephant in the room, Mac Pro. This has been so long in the making. We have been waiting for this for so long. And I say we as people who are into professional, like tasks or... Oh my god, this is going to be great. People who do professional work, like video, audio, graphic design, or like 3D graphics, stuff like that. Things that require real power. And the 2013 Mac Pro was okay for this for like a year and then just took a deep dive into the pit of obsolescence because it was non-user upgradable pretty much. And it was a thermal nightmare. It was a very poorly designed product. And now Apple has returned to their roots and they have gone back to a typical tower, but they have made it something super customizable unlike any other Mac in their lineup. I don't know if the CPU is, reconfigurable or like swappable, but I do know that you can swap out graphics with like, I think it's up to 8 PCIe slots, which is amazing. You can also put your own devices in there, and you can also put in like up to like a terabyte of RAM. So this is really geeking me out here. I really love how Apple, for the first time in a while, is enabling the pro user to upgrade their system. They really emphasize that. They also emphasize better thermals, which is something that Apple is notorious for really kind of f***ing up. The Mac Pro was a disaster, like I said. It couldn't cool anything properly because it was like this small little trash can package. And now we have a bunch of fans. The entire front and back of the device is like vents and venting. They have like this 3D vent thing that they made. It's really dope, and I really like the fact that Apple has made a device that is just totally geared towards the performance person who wants to get the most out of their machine. And yeah, it's $6,000, but this machine enables people to make a living, right? I mean, people have been using Macs in the industry for a while, MacBook Pros, iMac Pros, and now we have a actual Pro machine with Xeon processors. I mean, the iMac Pro is professional, but it's not professional like the Mac Pro because you can actually open this up and change things, and it's like a much better package in my opinion. It's a tool, it's a great tool, and I'm really excited to see what people do with it. Once again, it's very configurable. The specs that you're getting, I mean, it's professional, like server grade Xeon processors, up to like 28 cores. It's worth the money in my opinion. It's not overpriced, I think, because once again, it's for a professional person who's going to be using this every day for everything to make thousands and thousands of dollars, whether they work for a big company or they're a standalone creator, whatever. It's an investment, but it's a good investment, I think. And yeah, I'm just really happy that Apple has finally woken up and made a machine for the professionals who want a device that will last them like years, that's configurable, and that's thermally sound, completely unlike the 2013 Mac Pro, which so many people were kind of upset about. The second thing that I want to talk about is iOS 13. And yeah, it's not that much different, but there's two aspects that I'm really excited about. One is the increased speed. Apple said that they're redesigning how apps work and how like they download and whatever, and they optimize different things within the operating system. But they say that app opening times are going to be up to 2 times faster. So that's great if you have an older device like an iPhone 7 and iPhone 6s, which is the latest or the oldest phone that will be supported with iOS 13. So performance is getting even better. There was definitely a jump with iOS 12, and there's even more of a jump with iOS 13. So optimization is a really exciting path that Apple's going down. They care about their devices being supported, and that's really good for the consumer. I think Apple is loosening up on their planned obsolescence because they're realizing that people are going to stick with older phones and they're not going to go out of their way to buy a $1,000 iPhone just like that. The second thing, obviously, is the dark mode. Everybody has been wanting this for years. since Apple introduced OLED with the iPhone 10. I've wanted it, everyone's wanted it. Everyone's been complaining about it, everyone's been asking about it, and finally Apple has implemented it. And yeah, I don't think they needed like 2 years to do it, and maybe this was in their playbook. They wanted to hype up a dark mode and have something to talk about. But it's pretty nice. It's probably going to improve battery life if you have it on all the time with OLED displays, and it just looks super, super refined. Maybe they took all this time to make something like this work really well, because knowing Apple, they're perfectionists. They want to polish every little corner of the operating system with this dark mode. And if they needed that time, then so be it. At least we have it now. And yeah, this is something that people have been talking about for a while, and they've been asking and praying for, and Apple has made it happen. So that, in my opinion, might be proof that Apple is looking towards the tech community. People like us, people like me, people like Marquez and Lou, who are big names, and they have stuff to talk about with Apple, and they have their criticisms. Apple seems to be picking up on them. And just like the thermals with the Mac Pro, they also implemented this dark mode, which is, again, something that the community and just people who really do care about their devices have been talking about. So that's actually pretty cool. I'm very excited for a dark mode. And the third thing I want to talk about is iPadOS, and I'm actually really excited about this because I have been meaning to buy an iPad Pro 11 or 12.9 inch for school for the longest time. I'm going into college, and yeah, I'm a tech person. I do have saved money, and I want the Apple Pencil, and I want to take notes on it, but I want my device to be more than just a big iPhone, right? And that's pretty much what iPad's been since the day it was launched in 2010. It's been a big iPhone, good for web surfing and movie watching, whatever. But now Apple is stepping it up. No, it's not a laptop replacement. It still isn't. macOS is still macOS, and iOS, or now iPadOS, is still iPadOS. There's going to be differences, but they're bringing them closer together, and that is great. iPadOS is only going to get better from here, and they've implemented several things that people were complaining about, specifically the big boys in the tech world. Marquez, Lou, everybody was complaining about the lack of external storage with the iPad Pro, even though they implemented USB Type-C, and they finally have that with iPadOS. Super dope. I'm really excited about that. If you want to edit photos or video on your iPad, now you can without doing a bunch of crazy workarounds. That's a great feature if you are using your iPad as a standalone device, if you're that crazy right now. They also have a redesigned home screen, and yeah, it's not that much different, but at least they brought widgets. At least they make it look a little bit different. They make things a little bit more utilitarian and not just like spread out. Like, here are all your apps. It's like, here's some apps and here's a couple widgets. So I do actually enjoy that. They are taking better advantage of the big screens that they've implemented into their iPad Pro line. They also have implemented a better multitasking system, which is going to allow you to utilize your screen better. They have App Expose. They also have a feature called Sidecar, which allows you to use your iPad Pro as a secondary display with your Mac, straight from Apple. There's no third-party app involved. If you're doing illustration, that is a great feature. And I mean, iPad is already nice enough. You can message on it. It's a beautiful 120 hertz display with the Pro. You had Apple Pencil. So it really does make sense to have that as kind of like a Wacom replacement. I mean, it works well, it's a great standalone device, and it is now interconnected with your Mac. I'm super on board with that. Whether I was to use it as a secondary display for video editing if I was on the go, or just to draw or illustrate or whatever, that's really, really great. I'd love to be able to use Photoshop on my iPad on the same Wi-Fi network or however they make that work. So yeah, unfortunately, iPad Pro is still an iPad, and it's going to be a similar iPad experience, but it's going to be a way better experience that's going to take more advantage of the hardware and just the overall footprint of the device. So yeah, I think Apple set somewhat of a precedent today. They're starting to realize that they're not always right. They don't always know what the customer wants, and I think they've been hearing some of the criticism that they've been, receiving, from enthusiasts on this platform like YouTube and just people in general. And they've also kind of gone back to their roots and seen what they've done right, especially with the new Mac Pro, which I'm super excited about. I also want to quickly just mention, I forgot to kind of tie this in with the Mac Pro, the 6K display is really cool. Yeah, it's hella expensive. It's probably too expensive, but there's nothing else like it. And remember when 4K TVs came out? They were super pricey, like $5,000, $6,000, just insane prices. Now they're like $1,000. So this display is the best in the industry, I think, as of right now. It's huge. It has a pixel density of 218. It's beautiful. It kind of has that old style vibe to it. It pretty much reminds me of that 30-inch display that they launched in 2004, which I really do love. So yeah, I love it. I love what Apple has been doing, and for the first time in a while, I think Apple really is innovating. Now, maybe you're critical. If you have something to say about Apple, leave me a comment. If you have good things to say, leave me a comment. I'd love to hear what you think about this last WWDC, whatever. Anyways, I'm done talking. I've been rambling for what now? 30 minutes here. And yeah, I'm gonna have to edit this and make sense of everything that I just said. But anyway, I'd really appreciate it if you leave a like on this video, comment if you have any questions or suggestions, and subscribe for more content like this. And for my regular viewers, I'm going to be taking a bit of a break. I'm seeing some family and just doing some other things in YouTube for a little bit here. I've been working really hard, but just know I am continually going to upload. I have time off, and I plan on uploading like 2-3 times a week in the very foreseeable future. So anyway, as always, I'm Noah, and I will catch you all in the next one.